Yo, how y'all doing out there? It's your boy A.D. And right now we got a lot going on in the news about Shannon Sharpe and some sexual abuse or something to that effect. But I wanted to come and listen to this video with you guys by Stephen A. Smith because this is his co-worker. He, I guess, started him over there. He brought him to ESPN. So he will be the voice to speak, and it's his so-called friend. So he will be the one again to speak on this, coming from ESPN, and giving the people a real in-depth look, or look at how maybe we should be viewing this right now. So we're going to listen to Stephen and see, how he handles this. Let's see what he does here.
Welcome to this edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you over the digital areas of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. As always, thanking all of y'all for your support for watching the show and what have you. The millions of downloads I received over iHeartRadio. Subscribers now eclipsing 1.18 million. Thank you so much for the love and support. Today's a different day because of where I have to get started and where I have to finish. There's only going to be one subject discussed today, and it's where we're getting started. It's involving some news that broke yesterday involving Shannon Sharpe, my colleague at ESPN and my friend. The Hall of Fame tight end was sued on Sunday by a woman proceeding under the name Jane Doe pseudonym. The 13-page civil complaint filed in Nevada alleges that Sharpe committed assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. The plaintiff alleges Sharpe sexually assaulted her several times at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. The suit also alleges that Shannon engaged in the intentional infliction of emotional distress. It should be noted that the suit was filed by attorney Tony Busby. This is the same attorney that filed a suit against Jay-Z and P. Diddy, alleging they both sexually assaulted a minor, which has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z also has countersued Busby. By the way, the plaintiff in the Sharpe civil suit is not the woman heard in the accidental Instagram live stream incident that made headlines last September.
And while they're talking about, this attorney, Busby or what have you, I want people to understand. Let me tell you something about an attorney. Attorneys are some of the most low down, nasty people you can deal with. They lie when they know they have a guilty client. They do so many unscrupulous things under the code of law that they're really pieces of shit, the majority of them. And the attitudes and the nastiness and the behavior that they conduct themselves behind the scenes, and when they show who they really are, they're really trash. So don't give me this guy Bugsby or what have you, because he just got canceled or he had to withdraw that case that he had on Jay-Z because it was trumped up. Okay, they trumped up some charges and made it, they were guilty or what have you. These guys, man, it's like money grabs. And then again, they black. So it's like low-hanging fruit. We can go after them because white America really doesn't care, because white America don't like uppity niggas anyway. You understand? That's something ingrained in America. That's something that really America is. Listen, white people see you go up the totem pole and they'll be like, oh, so good for him. He comes up by his bootstraps. But when you start looking like you are too high or above them or doing more than them, then it all switches. I think we need to bring that uppity nigga down a peg or two. That's just it. You might not like what I'm saying or how I'm saying it, but that's America. That's woven into your flag and your fabric. That's what that is. So don't tell me about this attorney, because looking at him, he looks like he's been in the game a long time. And I know any attorney been around like that and done all the things that he's done. I know he's done cut more throats than you can count. But anyway, proceed.
Last year, In response to the suit, Shannon and his legal team went to social media yesterday and released a series of allegedly sexually explicit text messages between him and the Jane Doe. In addition to that, they issued the following statement, quote, "This lawsuit, filed by Gabriella Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed," end quote. Then earlier today, Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, sent TMZ Sports a 1 minute and 36-second clip of an alleged conversation between his client and Shannon. In response to that clip, Shannon Sharpe went back to social media and issued this response. Take a look.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
Well, it's a sad situation. Shannon Sharpe is somebody I work with a couple of days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon Sharpe is somebody that I brought to ESPN.
Okay.
Works on First Take, which airs on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
He's been with me every Monday and Tuesday. We've been number one for 13 years in counting.
Kudos.
But since Shannon has arrived, obviously he's helped the show immensely. And I can't thank him enough for it. We've grown close as friends. I'd like to believe that. I certainly root for him. I know he's been through a lot in life. He's overcome a lot of things. And when he departed from Fox, I was more than happy to bring him on board here. So all I can speak about is what I know based on the reports. And I can speak about ESPN and Disney. To be clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take. So I sit here before you today, letting you know that they are.
So they employ you. We get that. And you're going to basically, you're doing this on your own accord. But it seems like, I guess, and a lot of people would do that. You watching your check more so at this point. But I don't know. Do you have to do that right now? He hasn't been to court. He hasn't been convicted of anything. But are you going to throw him under the bus right now because you are trying to make nice with your bosses or ESPN or what have you? Let's see.
They are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach because I owe them that courtesy.
Oh, you do? Okay.
With that being said, it's important to point out a couple of things. Number one, I was not there. I can provide no eyewitness account. And even though I got love and respect for Shannon Sharpe, and I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt from a knowledgeable place because I have nothing to do with this. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. I don't even know this person. I know what the reports say. I know the reports, the things that have been reported on a multitude of outlets, from the AP to the New York Post to Forbes to TMZ and everything in between. I mean, I can't even count the number of publications that have talked about it or written about it, networks, etc. It's all over the internet. It's everywhere. And I know that. I'm fully aware of that. This is not a criminal case. So it's not there is no concern about him going to jail. This is a civil case, which means that he can either be found liable or not liable. The accuser in question is seeking $50 million. That was confirmed by Shannon Sharpe on that video today. According to the reports, it's somebody that he met in 2023, who was 19 years old at that particular moment in time. According to some audio that was put out earlier today by attorney Busby, you hear the accuser, the female, talking to somebody who is alleged to be Shannon Sharpe. We don't know whether that's true or not. And the person in question, again, we don't know whether it's Shannon or not, the words choke, as in I will choke the hell out of you if I saw you. And so because of that, knowing that audio was probably going to...
On that audio, when he said he would choke the hell out of her, I heard the audio. And it's just like a conversation that you have with somebody and you know them or you've been dealing with them enough that you guys communicate sometimes like that. I talk to friends like that. I got a girl cousin. I tell her I'm gonna bust on her head or such and such. I'm not gonna touch her. I'm not gonna do anything to her, but I can say it in a violent sounding way. I can make it, appear as if it's for real or it's something going to happen. But she knows and I know that it's not real. And it's something that she would even laugh at. So the way that I heard Shannon talking to her, he first, let me tell you something. When a guy is a violent type guy or what have you, what they're trying to paint this picture of Shannon, he would not have been talking to her in the beginning. Like he said, okay, all right. Yeah, I see you acting like a dick. Okay, well, you're gonna, you want to make it like that. And he's like, he's not even, there for it. He's just like, whatever. I don't even feel like playing your game today. That's not a violent guy. He would have been, yeah, when I see you, I'm gonna do this and that, but okay, play with me, this and that. That wasn't his conversation. That wasn't what he was saying. He didn't even have the anger or what have you from that. He just was telling her, he was like, look, man. And then she was like, oh, well, but because she was recording him, she was pushing him, trying to get him to say something to build her case because she had nothing. She ain't never been beat. She ain't got no pictures of being beat, abused, hurt, none of that. But she needed to push him just to get some words. She's a young, dumb girl. She ain't even got her full frontal lobe yet. This girl don't think past the ice cream shop. So don't tell me about she's credible. Get out of here with that. That don't even make sense. And you guys know out there, 19, 20-year-old girls right now. And you know how they think. They're not putting everything together as clearly because humanly it's impossible. They don't even have their full frontal lobe. They're just doing whatever they feel right now. That's why she's doing OnlyFans. So don't try and make her some credible person or witness here. Okay? Like I said, it ain't been to court, but again, the stuff that she was saying that they showed, she want him to put a baby in her, and she want him and $25,000 per ass cheek is what she want him to pay her. Because he liked her fat ass or her nice ass, and she want 25K. This is how they talk. She want him to put a collar around her neck. She want him to put a dog collar and choke her, and she want to lick his bum hole, and this is how they talk. So when she says all this crazy stuff, this other stuff to him, where he's like, look, you're playing games. I don't feel like that right now. I don't know why you tripping. I don't even want to go through that, because she's trying to push him to say something in that and get that recording on him. So this is why she is doing that. He doesn't understand why she's doing that, but he makes a comment just like I said I would make to people, and they talking stupid to me or saying something crazy. It's like, what is wrong with you? And he said, you say that again, I'm gonna come choke the shit out you. It doesn't need, black people talk like that all the time. I don't know how other people do, but I know black people talk like that all the time. They say things that they're not going to do. We're very emotional and we say shit off our sleeve like that. Doesn't mean anything. Because if it did, she would have a history of getting her ass whooped by him. She would have more evidence than what she's trying to create by a phone recording. Anyway, go ahead, Stephen.
To come out along with additional tapes, whether they be video or audio, is unclear at this particular moment in time. Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense. How we interpret that? Let me be very, very clear about where I'm coming from.
Where are you?
I'm a bit torn.
Okay.
In terms of his response. On one hand, Tony Busby has sued Jay-Z. He did sue Diddy. He did accuse them, or represented the woman who was accusing them.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Of assault, of sexual assault.
Right. What happened in that
said
case?
That she was 13 years of age at the time when talking about Jay-Z and Diddy, and Jay-Z went ballistic and emphatically denied it, wouldn't let it go. The case was dropped, and now he's suing Busby, mentioning words like extortion and other things.
Right, correct.
So when Shannon Sharpe brought up Mr. Busby in that video that we aired and talked about him being extorted, he brought up Mr. Busby and Mr. Busby's past.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about him, going against African-American men.
Mm-hmm.
There's two thoughts there. On one hand, there's the Jay-Z, who obviously should be presumed innocent, not just because you should be presumed innocent until found guilty, but because of the manner in which he fought on his own behalf and has been very aggressive in going after Tony Busby. In the case of P. Diddy, you don't know what to believe. Again, the case against Jay-Z was a civil suit. Diddy was a civil suit. But in Diddy, you don't know what to believe because of all the allegations he's facing. But we can't forget that Tony Busby was also the person that represented at least 24 of the 27 women that accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct, along with other allegations. And at least 23 of those cases were settled. So we have an obligation to mention that. So on one hand, going on the offensive to defend himself, I completely understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from. On the other hand, when his legal team issued out the press release on X yesterday, and they spoke about, they mentioned her name, and they revealed some of those explicit text messages, that was uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's a strategy that would work. One of the hardest things in the world for all of us to do is to just...
I think it was smart. I think it was smart to bring that out to show the kind of conversations they have. Yes, it was embarrassing, so to speak, or it could be embarrassing. Maybe it would be embarrassing to you, Stephen A. But, I imagine it probably was embarrassing a little to Shannon, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe he's like, hey, he owns what he does, and he like to kick it off and get freaky and do what he do. That she was into it too. She was right along there with it. Matter of fact, the stuff that they released was more stuff that she said. All the freaky stuff she was talking about. All the wild stuff she was talking about. So I think it was a good thing that he released it. Be transparent. Give it to the people and let them decide.
Just lay low and be quiet. And let our legal team do it. And we don't always know whether or not that's the right thing to do. I know, and I can tell you all that I spoke to Shannon, not in details, but I spoke to him, and he emphatically proclaims his innocence. According to Mr. Busby, his client emphatically proclaims his guilt.
So you playing both sides of the ping pong here. Okay. All right. Keep going.
So where does that leave us? I'd love to tell you that I know the answer to that question, but I don't. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said. And I can mention his name because I received his permission to say that. I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm glad you received Master's position, because that's just how you sound right now.
In my perfect world, this equates to Jay-Z, where the case is ultimately dropped and Shannon is allowed to continue on First Take and continue to thrive and shine. And not just that, and have an illustrious career in the podcast stratosphere, doing Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, doing Club Shay, and ultimately gets this $100 million deal that he was all over the news about to sign just a couple of days before this report came out. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is.
Wait a minute. Did you just do that? He just, first of all, we ain't been to court. We ain't been to the trial. We ain't done nothing. And you supposed to be his friend. You just went from, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know anything, and hopefully everything turns out, till that's not the way it's looking. Because Busby is a tremendous, credible attorney, and his client she sounds very confident. So this doesn't seem like it's going to play out like that. What are you saying, dude? No, I'm starting to look at this a little deeper, because like you just said, oh, he got this $100 million contract. He was all over the news, this and that. Okay, I kind of heard about the $100 million contract, but I think you were more and much more into this whole thing about him getting that $100 million. And it don't seem like you might have been cool with that. Because for you to be, looks like, we're going to listen to it more, but it looks like you throwing this man under the bus without a trial. You, his friend. So what would be your reason for hating on him like that? Why would you do that? Oh, you said the $100 million contract, and you were the one who brought him to ESPN. You brought him in, you the executive producer, this and that. But he busting out right now, and he's taking leaps and bounds. And if he start with this $100 million contract, his next contract and other endorsement deals will definitely have him where he surpasses you, who started him. And I don't see where that is making you look like you're happy for him because of your commentary right now. So is it really, are you Steven from Django? Because that's what you look like right now. But maybe I'm wrong. You still supposed to be his friend. Everything is alleged right now. So let's see what you say.
And how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I don't know where this is going to go.
You don't. None of us do.
I can't speak to anything else.
You shouldn't.
I don't know who Shannon Sharpe's legal team is and what they're suggesting. Right. I imagine that everything that has transpired has been at the behest of his lawyers, not just himself.
Okay.
I can tell you again that when I spoke to him, he is emphatic in stating his innocence.
Great.
That this is a shakedown.
Great.
To use his words. Mm-hmm. How wise is it to use those kind of words when a civil matter of this nature is out there? When you have a podcast and you have advertisers and sponsors and you work for ESPN and they have advertising sponsors, I don't know.
If that's what it is, what, he's not supposed to represent himself? He says it's a shakedown. That's what it is. I don't understand how that could be misconstrued as something negative for him to say this is a shakedown. I don't get that. I know corporate world works a little different or what have you, but even in the corporate world, somebody is innocent till proven guilty and they have a right to defend themselves. So what are you talking about, dude? Because you done throw them under the bus already, saying basically, you know, because it's Bugsby and his client that doesn't look like he's going to get out of this one. Doesn't look like things are going to turn out well for him on this one. I'm not saying that. You just said that because you should have never made that comment. Like you said, you don't know what's going on. You should have just laid it out like that. I don't know what's going on. I don't have anything to do with it. I hope it works out for him best and leave it at that. But you said, oh no, but I wanted to be good, but don't look like it's going to be like that for me. Do you understand you are in front of millions of people, that you are the face of ESPN? You're the face behind everything that's representing him right now. So if you start throwing him under the bus, if you start acting like the other side has the truth on their side and Shannon is in trouble before anything has happened, you are actually building a public opinion case against him. I don't know what your motives are or why you would do that, or are you the Stephen from Django that they talked about for years now? And it seems like you're fitting that part because the guy you spoke about from Disney, they use you. But I'm sure you jumped out there. Oh, I'll do it. I ain't scared. I'll speak because I know y'all don't want to say nothing, this and that. We always have, black folks jump out there against black folks like that. That's how it goes. That's the house nigga that jumps out and does that. So you come out, you're going to make a statement. So you look good in front of ESPN and the Disney bosses and all of that. So that's really your point and focus here. I see straight through all that. And they're using you at the same time because they don't even want to make a statement. They don't want to do anything, but they say, hey, we can put him up here, our tokener, and put him up here and let him speak and say something because we know he's going to run his mouth. So you can get them off the hook. But what you're really doing is exposing yourself, bro. And Shannon, with friends like this, you don't need enemies, bro. And this guy, now I from this here commentary, because this was a sucker play. You should have not even said nothing. I would have preferred, and I'm sure Shannon would have preferred you didn't say nothing, buddy. Because if you was going to say something as a friend, you was supposed to at least tell the people wait till judgment. That's what we got courts for. That's what we got law for. But you are throwing the man under the bus and you his friend. So you shouldn't have said anything if this is what you were going to do.
What can we say if any of us were in that position and we felt or were proclaiming we were innocent? I don't know. And I'm not about to pretend. I just wanted to make sure that I echoed to all of you that the only reason I spoke on this issue is because he works with me 2 days a week. He's on national television. He was on national television with me today. He was on national television with me yesterday when the story came out Sunday night. I didn't know anything about it until we got on the air. But he was on air. And if you know him in part because of all the work that he's doing with me and what he's doing in this industry, I know everybody's been waiting. Like, Stephen A., what you got to say about this? I got to say what I just told you. I don't know what's happened. I know I got love for the brother. I know that I'm wishing that he's innocent and all of this stuff goes away and he can continue to thrive with me on ESPN and thrive in his own platforms that he worked so diligently over the years to build. But anything else would be entirely irresponsible for me to speak on. And I can't do that.
But you did it. You did it. You just made that same comment again, but this time you did it correctly. That's how you should have did it in the beginning of this conversation when you said, I wish the best for him. I hope he gets, everything works out and none of this is true, this and that. But you didn't do that. You came back and said, but it's not looking like that. What the hell is that? Because this is Bugsby. Who is this criminal attorney? He's a criminal his damn self, I'm sure. And he has a confident witness. Dude, do you know what you're doing? I know you're not that stupid. You're insinuating that he is guilty. That's what you said. You need to check yourself, bro. I know you getting money, you working with all the corporate, you one of them type of dudes, you that's how I see you. You come off, you get with the elites and you want to be there sipping tea and crumpets with them because you feel that makes you somebody bigger than who you are or where you come from. You need to check yourself, bro. And Shannon, this nigga ain't your friend. Straight up. He ain't nobody's friend. He's for himself. So watch your back.
Yes, I own this. This is my platform. But also have a day job and also understand what lawyers, what HR, and all of those other things entail. What I said is all I can say. And in all honesty, at this moment, it is all I know. I have no idea what direction ESPN and Walt Disney will go in when it comes to this matter. All I do know is it won't be me making a decision. It'll be others upstairs.
Yeah. So you pretty much
in the
know.
End, all of us have someone.
So you pretty much know. You done got a word. You hear what's going on. And they probably just waiting for this here to kind of pan out. But it's probably been written in the cards to sack him anyway. And you're trying to clear it up to say, well, looks like he's out of here. And I ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't me. So that's why you keep talking about the higher ups. So it ain't you, but don't seem like you mad about it either. Because I think really Shannon was getting too big for you. Shannon was really, excelling in this community, and he trumped you anyway, because not only did he come in and build his skill tremendously on commentating and speaking, that a lot of jocks are not able to do that. And even with, you could tell the brother, his speaking ability it's like he had to develop himself, and he did that, and he's basically surpassing a lot of people in the game. So I'm sure it's not a good feeling, because you probably felt like, oh, you were, a commentator and this and that, and you spoke well, and so how can somebody like Shannon, this big, what they might want to stereotype and say, but that's why they love Shannon too. That's why the people gravitate towards Shannon. What people don't understand, his whole attraction is because when you look at the AI videos and different things that's out, you see like the AI with the muscle bound people, and they even do the women, and they show all the different, with the new AI, they can show how they would like for things to look. But what do you see when you see those images? You see big, powerful, strong, dark brown people. They represent that strength that goes all the way back to Shaka Zulu and everything like that. And we know that's the original. Everybody innately knows that's the original man. Shannon Sharpe looks like the original man. He may, have some different characteristic, but he looks and represents that look. And that represents power and strength. They try and make it represent, blackness represents something bad and weak. But what he's representing is the true look of that. He's clean cut. He's not, doesn't look like he on drugs or anything, and he's physically fit, and he's talking and he's commanding like a king, like a black king. And you can't compete with that. You don't even fit in that parameter. Standing next to him, you don't even match up. So I think there's a lot of undertones here that's going on. But you not his friend, bro. You more friends with them people who, who you chasing that check from. That's what it's about for you. How much money can you get, bro? How much money can you spend? Trust me, man. At the end of the day, people chasing all this damn money, billions of dollars. What you gonna do with it, bro? Sit on it? Because you ain't going out and doing no great philanthropy work and giving it away, which is really the only thing you can really do with it that's really going to be good, because you only need so much to live off. You can only drive one car, sleep in one bed at a time. So kill yourself for that money, sell your soul for that money. But Steven from Django, you need to really check yourself, bro. And Shannon, this nigga ain't your friend.
The answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, and we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors, like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses. That's the situation, unfortunately, that Shannon Sharpe finds himself in at this particular moment in time. I sincerely wish him the best. I got love for him.
Yeah, right.
And I hope all of this is just a sad ordeal that goes away because there was no truth to it. But I don't know. Neither do you or the rest of us.
I don't know and you don't know, so I'm not going to insinuate anything else like you did. All right. This dude is a clown. Okay. You guys leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think about this whole thing, because this really stinks, and this really showed me who this guy was. But anyway, I'm out. Holla at your boy.